Welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Hey, I have a question for you. What time is it where you are right now? Can you find a clock or a watch and tell me? I'll wait. Did you know that there is a good chance that the time where you live is a different time than it is right now for me? For example, if it's 10 a.m. where you are right now, it might be 11 a.m. where I am. Now, is that because I'm in the future? No, of course not. It's because of something called time zones. Have you ever heard of time zones? Today, we're going to learn all about them. Let's start with something big, really big, the Earth. The Earth is always spinning. How long does it take the Earth to complete one rotation? 24 hours. That's what gives us day and night. When your part of the world is facing the sun, it's daytime. And when your part is facing away, it's nighttime. But here's the thing. Not everyone can have the same time of day at the same time. If it's sunny and bright in California, it might already be dark in France. So how do we keep track of time all around the world? That's where time zones come in. The world is divided into 24 time zones, kind of like 24 big slices of orange wrapped around the Earth. Now, these aren't actual physical divisions. They're not real. This is just something that we made up to help us tell time better. But each time zone represents 1 hour of difference. That means if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon in one zone, it might be 4 o'clock in the next zone over. In the United States, there are 6 main time zones. So let's say it's 1 p.m. in Hawaii. That'll be our starting point. Now let's see what time it would be in other US time zones as we move east. So on Hawaii Aleutian time, which is what Hawaii is in, it's 1 p.m. Over in Alaska, it's 2 p.m. In Pacific time, which is like California, it's 3 p.m. Then on Mountain time, in places like Colorado, it's 4 p.m. And then in Central Time, in places like Texas and Illinois and parts of Tennessee where I live, it's 5 p.m. And then finally, on Eastern Time, which is places like New York and Florida, it's 6 p.m. So if you are in Florida at 6 p.m. and you call someone in Hawaii, it's only 1 p.m. where they are. And if you called even later, maybe 9 p.m., it's only 4 p.m. in Hawaii. Meaning, it's dark where you are, but the sun is still shining where they are. Time zones ensure that it gets dark roughly around the same time every place in the United States. During the summer, that's around 8 p.m. or so. No matter where you are in the United States, around 8 p.m. your time in the summertime, it's usually dark outside, or almost all the way dark. Now, I'm in the United States, and I know a lot of you are too, but I also know that we have curious kids all over the world who listen to this show. In fact, I know that there is a curious kid named Amelia in France who listens to the show with her dad. France is in a time zone called Central European Time. It's usually 7 hours ahead of Central Time in the United States. That's the time zone that I live in. That means that when my sons are eating lunch, Amelia in France might be already getting ready for bed. So no, I'm not a time traveler, but depending on where you live, we're all in different slices of time, thanks to how the Earth spins. And that's what time zones are all about. Have you ever been in a car on a trip with your family and you heard one of your parents say, "Switch the clock, we just changed time zones"? That's because sometimes when you're driving, you cross into a new time zone. Here in Tennessee, where I live, we actually have 2 time zones. If I head east for just a couple of hours, it would suddenly go from, say, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Like I lost a whole hour. But when I come back home, I get that hour back. So for example, if it's 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be 3 p.m. Central Time. So anytime we go on a trip that direction, we always have to remember, it's an hour later there. The idea of time zones was made popular by a man named Sir Sandford Fleming, a Canadian engineer. Back in the 1800s, trains were becoming a big deal. They could travel across entire countries. But here was the problem. Every city used to set its own local time based on when the sun was highest in the sky. That made time schedules super confusing. So Sir Sandford Fleming suggested dividing the world into 24 time zones, each 1 hour apart. His idea helped everyone use a more organized system, especially for things like trains and communication. The system was officially adopted in 1884, and we still use it today, 140 years later. All right, let's have a quick quiz. What do we call the slices of the Earth that help keep track of time in different parts of the world? They are called time zones. And how many main time zones are there around the world? 24. That's easy to remember because there are 24 hours in a day. Why don't all places on Earth have the same time at once? Because the Earth spins and different places face the sun at different times. If we all decided, hey, right now is going to be 2 p.m. no matter where you are on the whole world, well, that would mean that some people would have 2 p.m. during sunshine, and for some people, 2 p.m. would be the middle of the night, and it just wouldn't really make sense. Let's play true or false. True or false? There are 6 time zones in the United States. That is true. There's Hawaii Aleutian, Alaska, Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. True or false? Every country in the world has its own unique time zone. That is false. Some countries share time zones with others. And some states, like my state of Tennessee, share a time zone too. We're in Central and Eastern time, depending on what part of the state you are currently in. True or false? Time zones were invented before trains were. That is false. Time zones were created because of trains. It was the idea of Sir Sandford Fleming. True or false? If it's nighttime in one time zone, it's nighttime in all the time zones. That is false. Some places can be in daytime while others are in night. Would you rather live in a place where it's always daytime or always nighttime? I think I would go with daytime, and then I would just find a room that I could make completely dark. So when I needed to sleep, I could sleep in a dark place. But that way I would have sunshine when I wanted it. It would be hard if it was nighttime all the time to create the conditions of daylight. You know, the sun is just a very powerful light source. You can't really just make up your own. Oh, here's another would you rather. Would you rather fly around the world so fast you could visit every time zone in 24 hours, Or would you freeze time for 10 minutes every day? So would you rather fly around the world so that you could visit every time zone in one day? Or would you like to be able to freeze time for 10 minutes every day? I think I would freeze time for 10 minutes every day. It would give me a little extra time to think. Okay, let's make sure that we know all of the names of the time zones in the United States. Repeat after me. Hawaii Aleutian Time. Can you say Hawaii Aleutian Time? Then there's Alaska Time. Can you say Alaska Time? Then there's Pacific Time. Can you say Pacific Time? Mountain Time. Can you say Mountain Time? And then Central Time. Can you say Central Time? And finally, Eastern Time. Can you say Eastern Time? Which time zone do you live in? Let's say them faster. Ready? Hawaii Aleutian Time. Alaska Time. Pacific Time. Mountain Time. Central Time. Eastern Time. Time zones might seem confusing at first, but they're actually just a clever way to keep track of day and night as the Earth spins. They help us all stay on schedule, whether we're in France, the United States, or anywhere else on the globe. And now, next time someone says, "What time is it there?" you'll know why it might not be the same as where you are. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out. So until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And for all the grown-ups listening, please visit CuriousKidsEveryday.com to get a free printable with activity ideas that don't involve screens. Those are the best kinds of adventures to have. That's CuriousKidsEveryday.com. See you tomorrow.